The angel of 70,000 tongues. Somewhere beyond the reach of human sight, there is said to be a being with 70,000 heads. On each head, 70,000 faces. In each face, 70,000 mouths. In each mouth, 70,000 tongues. And every single one of those tongues speaks a different language, not dialects of each other, but 70,000 entirely distinct languages, each with its own sound, its own grammar, its own way of shaping breath into meaning. He has done one thing, without pause, without sleep, without a single moment of silence, since before the first sunrise. He praises God. This is the story of that angel, drawn from the old texts of Islamic tradition. Who tells this story? Before we go further, it's worth understanding where a story like this comes from. This isn't found in the Quran itself, and it isn't part of the small core of hadith accepted as most rigorously authenticated. It belongs to a wider, older body of Islamic literature, sometimes called ajaib, wonders. Descriptions of the vastness and strangeness of the unseen world, collected by classical scholars and storytellers like Al-Qazwini and Al-Tha'alibi. These accounts sit in Islamic tradition the way certain vivid parables and folk teachings sit in other faiths, not treated as strict doctrine to be argued over line by line, but preserved for what they illustrate in this case, just how limitless the unseen world of angels is said to be, and how total devotion can be when a being is made of nothing else. With that in mind, here is the story as it's been told. The form of the angel. Before the first star was set in place, before the seas were poured into their basins, the angels already existed, beings made of light, without hunger, without rest, created for nothing but obedience. And among them was one unlike any other. 70,000 heads rose from him, each one distinct. On every head, 70,000 faces turned outward, in every direction at once, so that unlike you or me, he never needed to turn to see what was behind him. He simply saw. Everywhere, always, in every face, 70,000 mouths opened, and in every mouth, 70,000 tongues moved a number so vast that no scholar who ever tried to count it could finish, no mind that ever tried to picture it could hold the whole image at once. Multiply it out, if you want to try. 70,000 heads, times 70,000 faces, times 70,000 mouths, times 70,000 tongues. The number stops meaning anything after a certain point. That's the idea. This isn't a being you're meant to be able to picture completely. He's meant to represent something too vast for a human mind to hold in one frame. 70,000 languages. Here's the detail that makes this story stand apart from other descriptions of angels. Every one of those 70,000 tongues spoke a different language. Not variations of one root tongue, not the same words with a different accent. 70,000 completely distinct languages, each with its own grammar, its own rhythm, its own way of turning breath into meaning. Think about what that means. Every language ever spoken by every people who ever lived, from the earliest words grunted by the first humans to the last fading dialect that will die with its last living speaker, was already known to this angel before the world even began. He never had to learn a single one of them. There was no moment of first contact, no translation required. In this story, praise itself is described as fluent in everything. No people, no tribe, no nation, no tongue is foreign to it. Praise without pause. Now here's what he actually does with all of it. He praises God, constantly. Every head, every face, every mouth, every tongue, all at once, 70,000 times 70,000 times 70,000 voices, rising together, each shaping the same truth in its own language. Glory be to you. There is nothing like you. You alone are worthy, not once a day, not in a single moment of devotion set aside like a prayer at dawn. All of it, all the time, without a single second of silence, since before time had a name. There's an old account where the angel Gabriel is asked whether this being even understands the meaning behind everything he says, whether he reflects on the words the way a person turns a poem over in their mind. And the answer given is this: it doesn't matter, because he wasn't created to think about praising God and then, separately, do it. The praising isn't something he performs, it's what he's made of. The story compares it to fire. Fire doesn't decide to be hot and then become hot. It simply is heat. It can't be anything else. This angel, in the same way, isn't a worshipper who chooses devotion each morning. He's a being made entirely of devotion, with nothing left over that isn't that. The weight of a single voice. There's one more detail from this tradition worth sitting with, and it's the most unsettling one. It's said that if even a single one of his voices, just one tongue, out of the 70,000 times 70,000 times 70,000, were to reach the ear of a man on earth, in whatever language that man had been born speaking, that man would fall to the ground and would not rise again until his life had left him. Not because the sound is cruel, because no human body was ever built to receive something spoken with that kind of scale, that kind of certainty, from a throat that has never once doubted what it's saying. It's a striking way of framing the gap between the unseen world and this one, that even the smallest fragment of what exists beyond our sight would be more than a human being could survive encountering directly. What the story is actually saying. The scholars and storytellers who preserved this account weren't trying to hand down a census of heaven, counting angels the way you'd count sheep in a field. They were reaching for something bigger, using the only tool available to them, image and number stretched past the point of being literally countable, to say, the unseen world is vast beyond anything the seen world can hold. And they were saying something about devotion too. That in its purest form, devotion isn't a task a being performs and then sets down. It's a nature. Something a being simply is, the way fire is heat, the way water is wet. So somewhere, this tradition says, beyond anything we could see or survive hearing, something is praising God in every language that has ever existed and has not stopped, not once, since before the world began. And Allah knows best. Stories like this one live in the margins of Islamic tradition, not treated as strict doctrine, but preserved for centuries because of what they point toward, a world larger and stranger than the one we can see. If you want more stories like this, angels, hidden creatures, and the wonder literature of Islamic tradition, subscribe and tell me in the comments which one you want covered next. See you in the next one.